Beware of winning streaks. What the hell am I talking about? There are many in this world that are more than willing to give you advice, but few are willing to offer guidance. And that's exactly what this video is about. I'm going to offer you some guidance. And that's whether you're deep in the shit and faced with uncertainty and doubt, or if you're just totally flying high, you're on that winning streak. Believe it or not, you need guidance in both of those circumstances. Now, you think that winning streaks are good, don't you? Well, when you're on one, the last thing that you're worried about is failure. Yet the streak is bound to end, and when it does, it will happen when you least expect it. And to that end, it's going to go deeper and dig more sharply into your soul and into your wallet than you've ever imagined. In fact, so deep that it will probably leave some kind of financial scar. It'll be like that win never happened. But I'll bet you it felt really, really good while it lasted, didn't it? Well, whether you like it or not, we're faced with this market duality all the time. We only hope to ride the positive wave when we recognize it and jump off before it starts consuming us. And that's why it pays to be a contrarian. I'm sure you've heard that term before, being a contrarian investor. Because without that proper attitude, that awareness, that realization of the ends, the extremes, and something beyond the extremes, you'll never develop the sense, the wisdom to let go or to step into the fire when it's necessary. So that's why adopting a contrarian attitude is really a good start. I mean, that's the whole thing. You need to just start adopting that way of thinking. Now, don't think that all of a sudden you just become a contrarian. I mean, this is a journey. First, you have to recognize that it is a journey, right? It's kind of like a tool like being a contrarian is kind of like having a scalpel. In the hands of a skilled surgeon, it can save lives. But in the hands of, say, a toddler, believe me, nothing good can come from that. And that's why you need the guidance. That's why the advice of a guidance, a mentor, a coach, regardless of your skill level, regardless of where you are on that path, there's a path that you need to follow. So what are the skills that you need to develop right now? What are the strategies that you need to adopt? First of all, there's no right answer to that. There's just different paths. And we all go down whatever path that we choose or whatever's best for us. But all the paths to that fortune will require at least these things: sound logic and reasoning ability. Otherwise, you'll have created a very effective strategy probably for your wealth's destruction. There is one universal strategy that we could all get better at, and that's having the patience to act at the right time and recognize when that right time is. In other words, as you know, some of the greatest investors of all time have said, here's one quote. I'll leave you with these two things. Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. That was said by Warren Buffett. Basically alluding to the fact that you need to have that temerity, that courage to step in when nobody else wants to. And then when everybody else wants to stay in the fight, know when to get out. And here's something that Baron Rothschild once said, and a lot of people have heard this. Buy when there's blood in the streets, even if the blood is your own. A lot of people don't attribute that last part to that quote, but I believe that is part of the original quote. So even if you are bloodletting, you have to know that maybe that is the right time to start getting long. You wonder, how the hell do I do that? How in the hell do I do that? How do you keep yourself from bloodletting in the street? How? How do you laugh in the face of fear and the advice of everyone around you saying, get out, don't do it? killed, and then just simply plow forward. How do you do that? Well, there's at least a few things that would help. The first is to remove the fear and replace it with confidence. And this only happens if you know things and feel empowered and you feel confident. But how do you do that? How do you gain that confidence? You need a couple of things. First of all, you need an edge. And I mean, you need to know exactly what your edge is, where it's coming from, how much of an edge you actually have. That's a real confidence builder. And the second thing that you need is don't do anything stupid. I mean, the easiest way to not do things stupid is to do nothing. I mean, although some may argue that doing nothing is sort of the cowardice, or that could also be a negative way. But, I mean, we all know not to touch a hot stove. We all know not to step over the edge of a cliff. Or don't enter into a position when there's too much at stake. So, one thing that you can do is you can take baby steps. You can start learning, when is it the right time to step on the edge of that cliff? Start with super small trades. Have a plan for getting into a better price, maybe by adding to that trade. Or when it's obvious to add to that trade when it's going in your favor. I mean, over time, you'll start developing a good sense. If you adopt this very simple strategy, so start by trading small and then add to the trade. A lot of people will look at that as, say, buying into weakness and selling into strength, sort of the scale in, scale out type of strategy. And that will help you manage, your positions and manage to that finish. Now, there's a special emphasis on getting to that end game, realizing your positions, because until you actually realize a position, that means actually taking profit, locking in, preserving capital, and keeping what you get. None of this really makes sense at all. So, winning and losing streaks are definitely worrisome because you know that they're going to end. You just don't know when. Right? You just don't know when. So, adopting strategies that will help you have the confidence, have a knowable, definable edge is just plain smart. It's like our system pattern cast. I mean, we have a pretty good handle on what the edge is that we have because we have data. We have lots and lots of data. And we have the confirmation. Well, there's no pure confirmation, but we have an edge built in the statistics, things that are repeatable over and over and over and over again. And we play those things. We play in line with those statistics. And over time, we should mirror that edge that we have. And it's the same way with options. And I'm going to be doing an options course very soon. Make sure that you check out for that. Options are also a statistical bundle. It's all about the stats. You have defined risk and statistically based outcomes. If you play these stats enough, if you play what the options are telling you are the odds, over time you will start to come close to and mirror those stats. So the stats that you choose, the potential for profit and the return on capital that you want to achieve. I mean, that to most people, that's anathema. They don't understand that. You mean I can choose how much I want to win and how often I want to win? The answer is yes, you can. Now, there are at least two things that you can do to combat the fear, the greed, the uncertainty, and the just plain old bad trading. And that is by trading with a purpose. Know your edge, start small, and as confidence in the position grows, and this should be borne out by the statistics, over time, your overall confidence and skill will grow. So what I'm alluding to here is that this growth, this getting to this confidence level, there's no kind of like end game or end point. This is a path that you follow. It's a path where you have to also adopt a continuous improvement strategy. And this is akin. I often say that if Buddha was a trader, he'd be an awesome trader because that's what Buddhism is all about, right? It is about identifying the attachments that you have that are causing you to suffer, and then following the eightfold path, they call it, the righteous path, the right thinking, right mindset, right speak, everything. It's the same thing with trading. It's the same thing with life, quite frankly. And don't ever think that you're just too good, that guidance or mentoring or coaching isn't necessary. Because like anything, any professional that's in sports or anywhere else, even in trading, you need people by your side to help you, to help mentor you, to help coach you. And when you start to think that way, you'll start staying on that path. Your ability to be focused and stay on that path without veering off will get better and better over time. And that will be your path to success. There you go. See you next video.